Hey everyone, welcome to the City Chit Chat. I'm your host Danielle from M. Slaughter Real Estate, a locally owned brokerage here in Revere. I am on our first video for our community website where we'll be talking and posting all about Revere and what we have to offer locally. Some things from our neighbors, getting to know local businesses, and events happening around town. Our very first guest today is our local resident and first-time candidate for Councilor at Large, Edward Ned, as we know him, Almeida. So thanks for taking the time today.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So we're going to get started. So we have some questions here. So first off, tell us a little about your family and what you guys do for fun. We'll start off nice and light.
Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Well, again, my name is Edward Almeida, but everyone calls me Ned. I probably won't even respond if somebody calls me Edward. I'm married. We have 3 kids. My wife, Jennifer, is originally from Brazil. We have 2 teenage daughters, Nicole and Tiffany. Nicole is 18. She just graduated from Revere High.
Congrats.
And she's off to Clemson University in the fall. She's the first student from Revere High School to be accepted and attend Clemson University.
Nice.
Which is a huge accomplishment.
Absolutely.
It's very difficult to get into Clemson. They have very low acceptance rates, and we're very proud of her for being able to accomplish that. A little nervous about her going down to South Carolina, but
yep.
she's tough, much like her mother. So she should be fine.
Yeah.
Then our middle child is Tiffany. She just turned 16. She's learning how to drive. She's going to be a sophomore come the fall at Revere High, and she's still trying to find her way a little bit, but she's always been very keen towards like theater and acting, singing, performing. She's always been very much of a performer. And it seems like she's kind of built up enough confidence in herself to actually join the drama club this year and try out for some plays and other productions with the high school, which I'm glad to see that she's grown that way.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we have our little man, Apollo. He's 4 years old, and he does whatever he wants, like most 4-year-olds do. But he's a really sweet kid, very attentive, very polite, very creative and adventurous. Mm-hmm. So, and he has the benefit of having 2 much older sisters. So he's gonna grow up, I think, kind of knowing his way around the world pretty well.
And he'll be very, very sensitive and
I think so.
Yeah, he's in tuned. He's for sure in tuned. Yeah. What do you guys like to do for fun?
I think that we're very fortunate because there are a lot of things that my family likes to do together, and a lot of family activities that still keep our kids engaged and they still want to participate in, as opposed to most teenagers or even younger kids these days who just are so engrossed in their phones and their video games and their own activities that they no longer want to do anything with the family. But we attend the Red Tiger Academy in Somerville together as a family.
Jeez, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. We study Shotokan karate together.
Nice.
Everyone from Apollo up to me and my wife Jennifer. Mm-hmm. We've been going there for 7, maybe 8 years now, I think.
I know. The kids were young.
And Apollo.
Those of you who don't know, that's my husband's karate school.
And Apollo has grown up in the dojo, and it's really his second home. So we look forward to nights where there's classes and events with the academy. The other thing that we do that's a little bit different than most families is that we're very into like comic book culture, sci-fi, Star Wars, Harry Potter, those types of movies and books and genre. We attend a lot of Comic-Cons, comic book conventions. We do at least 3 or 4 a year.
As a family, that's awesome.
As a family. And we go to New York, Rhode Island, Boston, some other smaller ones throughout New England. We make our own costumes of different characters, whether it's from anime like Dragon Ball Z to DC characters, Marvel characters. Last year we were all different versions of Spider-Man. And now that the girls are older and have been doing this for a while, they're very heavily participate in the creating of the costumes. We go shopping, we buy fabrics, we go to thrift stores to find items, we put these costumes together, we make props, and we go and have a great time. We meet celebrities, showcase the costumes that we make, and get to spend some quality family time together.
That's perfect. And people don't have those kinds of talents to create things from scratch, so that's really good for them to learn that. All right, so you're not originally from Revere, so where are you originally from?
Born and raised down in New Bedford. Okay. It's down on the south coast of Massachusetts, big fishing town. Right.
But you've been here for how long?
I moved to Revere after I graduated from college, so that would have been 2012. I was living on Mission Hill in Boston, and in an attempt to escape the increasing rent in Boston, I started kind of moving out from the center of Boston and found Revere. Good.
So what is your current profession? What did you?
I'm a nurse. I work at Mass General, and I specialize in vascular access. Fancy way of saying IV nurse.
Sure.
I'm also the nurse manager for Cambridge Biotherapies,
nice.
Which is a psychiatric treatment facility in Central Square in Cambridge.
Okay. Good. You're a busy guy.
I'm busy, yes.
Busy guy. And now you're in Revere. What do you love most about your neighborhood?
We live in Oak Island, which is great. It's a quiet little neighborhood in the city. It's somewhat secluded, but not cut off.
No.
We live right near the beach. We live right near Kelly's Roast Beef. It's an easy walk for me in the morning when I walk down to Wonderland for my morning commute. We have a playground just a block away from the house.
I used to play baseball there.
Oh.
When they had baseball teams.
Yeah.
My dad was a coach there.
I don't think they played games there for quite a while.
Oh, really?
But they do maintain the field.
They do. One of the few fields that they actually maintain still.
They do. Don't go there after it rains. But.
No. Oh, I remember some terrible thunderstorms that we used to get stuck while we were playing. We'd have to go into the cars and wait till everything subsided. So I remember that.
But the Oak Island Park and Playground is wonderful. So
it's really great for the neighbors too, because it's so family oriented in that area that you get a lot of the kids that go there that they and the parents send them off sometimes.
Right.
They used to. I don't know if
they still do. And it's a rare thing to see, but a lot of the kids in our neighborhood do play outside in the street, riding their bikes, skateboards. There's a huge hopscotch that was drawn over the last couple of days in the middle of the street.
Nice.
And those are things that you don't see in a lot of neighborhoods anymore. Kids playing outside or playing outside together.
Right.
Just about everyone in our neighborhood owns a dog, which is, I think, usually a good sign for a neighborhood. Everyone might not know our neighbors, but everyone knows the dogs in our neighborhood. So everyone knows that Luke lives here and Cooper lives there. And
same in my neighborhood too. I know all the dogs' names, and they know my dog's name, and that's about it.
That's about it. I know which people belong to the dogs, not the other way around.
The dogs that own their people. Right, exactly. All right, so getting into the politics part.
Okay.
Why did we decide to do that?
As you know, Danielle, and some people who might be viewing, back in about maybe February, my neighborhood faced a difficult situation with a potential development that might not have benefited our neighborhood in ways that would have left everyone feeling comfortable. And when we went to the city council, different departments in the city, we were told from just about everyone that there was nothing that could be done. And that was kind of the end of it. Everyone was very willing to kind of wash their hands of the situation, didn't want to get involved.
The higher ups were washing their hands.
It was very difficult to get information or guidance. Most people in my neighborhood are just regular residents with no political ties or experience. So navigating a political system is new for a lot of us. We went to many city council meetings, we went to zoning board commission, we went to the mayor's office, and we were pretty much told from right across the board that there was nothing that could be done, and that was the end of it. Which left all of us feeling very dejected and kind of abandoned by the city, and it was a very terrible feeling, and it's something that I don't want any other resident of Revere to feel. I want them to know that at the very least there's one person within the Revere system who is willing to listen and hear them out and offer to help, even if help can't be offered in an official capacity. But that there's somebody there on the other side of the desk, on the other side of the chamber, who's willing to kind of meet afterwards, help, provide guidance, assistance, advice, anything. And to be honest, whether I'm elected or not, that's a promise that stands for all the residents of Revere. If you need help with something, if you have questions, if you want someone to go with you to City Hall, if you need help filling out paperwork, whatever the case might be, my door is always open, and you can reach out to me on Facebook or through email, whatever the case might be, and I'll try to help you any way I can.
Yeah, navigating a system that people aren't familiar with is really hard, and they get, I feel as though that they get turned off by it, and they just kind of like you said, wash their hands and that's it, but there's other ways around it. And as local and being a local leader, or like you said, if you get elected or not, at least somebody you can, advocate for somebody, and that's really important, I think.
I think so too.
Advocating for people is really hard too. So you've come into that role where you stood up for the people that you had an issue with, or the neighborhood had the issue with. You localized your group, your Oak Island group.
Yes.
And did you? This isn't one of our questions, but were you more of the opportunity for you to take that leadership role, or I know that there was a couple of other people that had some leadership roles. Did you want to have your voice heard with the others, or how did you become into that leadership type of role for this particular instance anyways?
Well, I am not the type of person who sits idly by. I saw a situation that was happening in our neighborhood that would negatively impact not only myself and my family, but my entire neighborhood. And really, before there was any kind of organizing amongst the neighbors, there were kind of 4 key people in the neighborhood who all kind of have a similar attitude as to my own, where they weren't going to sit idly by and wait for something to happen or wait for someone else to do something. It didn't take very long for us to recognize that the 4 of us were kind of overlapping a little bit. And then we were able to come together and kind of take up a leadership role within the Oak Island neighborhood.
So as being an Oak Island resident, you're running for councilor at large. That is not designated just towards your neighborhood.
No, it is not. No.
You want to explain a little
Councilor at large is a councilor for the entire city.
Okay.
I opted to run for councilor at large as opposed to Ward 5 councilor, because I really want to represent all residents of Revere, business owners, anyone who has a tie to Revere. I want to represent. I want them to have somebody on the inside who has lived through what it's like to be in Revere. Revere's makeup has changed quite a bit over the last couple of years, over the last decade. But certainly more so over the last couple of years, certainly within the time that I've been in Revere. And our local government doesn't necessarily reflect the community anymore.
The diversity.
The diversity in a number of ways, not just ethnically,
Right.
but socioeconomically,
Right.
Immigrant status. We have a lot of young professionals who are moving to the city, and I know that all of the new construction and apartment buildings across the city are a hot topic
Right.
in the city amongst residents.
Well, especially in your area.
But those buildings are being filled with predominantly young professionals who are moving here and are commuting to and from Boston
Right.
for work.
Right.
That's how I started in
Sure.
Revere. We have a large number of immigrants across the city, and even though I myself am not an immigrant, my wife is an immigrant, and I've had to help her navigate through the immigration system, and I kind of have sympathy and empathy for people who are going through those certain things. I grew up in New Bedford, which is a very diverse city, always has been, because of its ties to fishing and whaling and shipping. And I learned from a very early age that diversity helps keep a city growing and vibrant. And I want our local government, our city council, to be reflective of that diversity that we have in the city, and in order to kind of help the city to continue to grow and to blossom. I've been saying that Revere is on the verge of this renaissance right now.
I can see that.
and I think it's really true. This year alone, this local government has been inundated with people from the community coming forward for a variety of issues: the high school, Oak Island development, child care changes and child care laws, and I don't think that the city has had this type of community interest and engagement like it has had these last few years. Everything from school committee meetings to city council meetings to State of the Union addresses from the mayor have been hugely attended, and I think the people of Revere are realizing that Revere needs a little bit of change in order to keep growing and keep moving forward.
Right.
So we're on the verge of this renaissance, and I really hope that I can be a part of that.
Awesome. So are there any surprises that you've seen or that you've come across so far as you're campaigning?
Nothing in terms of my own campaign, but something that I have found surprising is a pleasant surprise, are the number of people who have decided to run for office.
A lot.
There are a
lot.
There are a lot of candidates right now for councilor at large.
How many positions are open?
There are 5 seats for candidate at large.
Okay.
All 5 seats are up for grabs.
Yeah.
We do have 2 incumbents who are running, but it's well within the double digits. I think there are maybe 13 candidates
for councilor
at large alone. Okay. Then I think just about every ward has 2 or 3 candidates running. And
that's a really big shakeup in the town.
It's a big shakeup in the town, and a lot of the people who are running are first timers.
Right.
Which is great to see, and I think it kind of goes back to my last point about Revere starting to wake up and starting to realize that we need to try something different because the city is changing, the city is growing, so our council, it's evolving.
Yeah.
With a lot of the residents that I've met with, a very common theme has been Revere needs to change. We need new people in office, we need younger people in office, and I've heard this from people who have moved to Revere recently, for people who have been born and raised and lived here for decades and decades of generations, seniors to youth, and it seems that like everyone's kind of realizing that Revere needs to move forward.
Sure, I agree. Yeah.
So I've been very pleasantly surprised that so many people are wanting to get into local politics, be involved in local politics, and hopefully they all have, the right motivations and are all in it to help Revere grow and move forward.
Great. What are your goals as a community leader?
The big things for me are transparency within our government. I think that everything that's being done, decided upon by the city council, the mayor's office, how different departments are run, I think that needs to be very plain and transparent and visual to the community. I don't like the idea that decisions are being made and then residents are finding out afterwards,
Right.
or they don't understand what the process
Right.
is. Even though residents might be for or against a decision that has been made, but it seems like a lot of kind of controversy that the city faces is behind misinformation or a lack of information, and I really would like to help kind of negate that. Boil things down to their base functions and their base details and present that to everyone, so that way the entire city has an easier understanding as to what is happening and why it's happening.
Okay.
I think accessibility is hugely important. Even now, after living in the city for many years and dealing with just about every department in the city for a variety of issues as a homeowner and doing construction, building, clerk's office, taxes, all that
Sure.
stuff, it's still daunting going into City Hall.
Oh yeah.
Thankfully, our computer systems have improved greatly over the last few
Yes,
years.
they have. Yes.
There are many things that can be done online. A lot of information can be found online. But I don't want to see us just stop with what we have. We need to continue trying to make it easier.
Right. Complacency. We don't want that
We
to
don't,
set in.
yeah, we
Right.
don't need to settle down. We need to keep moving forward. And whether it's apps on people's smartphones that can be improved, more information that's readily available, better translator services for our residents. But I want the residents of Revere to feel comfortable going to their local government, going to the city council, going to the city hall, and feel that they can freely walk in, get the information that they need, and then walk out. And then the last goes back to representation.
Sure.
Is that I want the city council, I want our local government, I want the different departments of the city to reflect the people who live in the city.
Right.
And so that way people might feel more comfortable going in because they say, hey, this guy has a similar story to me,
Sure.
or this guy comes from a similar background as I do, or this guy understands this because he and I share this kind of
Right.
something or another. Makes things a little bit easier, puts people at ease, makes people feel more comfortable, and diversity helps, prevents us becoming stagnant.
Right. We have to grow.
We have to grow.
We have to grow. The more questions that people ask, I think, is important too, because you don't know somebody until you start asking questions. So you've listed some of the improvements that you want to see in Revere, so that was great. I think my last question is what is something that most people don't know about you?
Most people who know me know that I'm not afraid to talk. However, what a lot of people don't realize is that I don't really say much.
No, you don't.
No, but I can talk for a long time. I was always raised with you do what you do just because that's what you do.
Okay.
But some things about my background that people don't know. One is most people don't know that I studied martial arts. Even though I've been doing it for quite a while now.
Right.
And aside from home and work, it is probably where I spend most of my time in the week.
I'm so blessed.
But I do study Shotokan karate. I have been for the last 7 to 8 years, as I mentioned earlier, with my wife and our 3 kids. Also, for the last 10 plus years, I've sat on the board of directors for 2 non-profit youth development organizations in my hometown of
Fantastic.
New Bedford. One is called Community Voting Center, not related to the Community Voting Center in Boston,
Okay.
a separate organization. And the other is called Trips for Kids, not Trips for Kids anymore, Youth Opportunities Unlimited.
Nice.
Which both programs, one utilizes boating and the other utilizes cycling, but they're both fantastic programs that really help the youth of New Bedford kind of have safe places to grow and expand their minds. Both programs are heavily ingrained with STEM, agricultural, community engagement, and they've both been, well, I've been involved with both organizations since I was maybe 7, 8 years old.
So you participated?
I was a participant and came up and was an instructor, site manager, joined the board of directors, and sat on the board. And only just recently left both of those positions. But I feel like they're in good hands.
That's good.
They've grown beyond needing
Awesome.
my help. They need more experience and professional help at this point. They've gotten quite large. Additionally, I'm an Eagle Scout, and for a very many number of years, I was both Cub Scout leader and a Boy Scout leader. And we planned many trips, hiking, camping, outdoor adventures, wilderness survival, things of that nature.
That's awesome. Busy guy.
Busy, yes, always something to do, somewhere to go, someone to see.
And you took your time out for me today, so that's awesome.
Of course.
So thank
you.
you.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so
much. As
much.
my first interviewee.
Very honored that I can take that spot.
You rocked it.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. So I guess that's a wrap. It's our first show on City Chit Chat. If you like the show, you can hit the like button. If you didn't like the show, don't hit the dislike button. No, I'm kidding. You can hit the dislike button if you want. If you have questions, feedback, or an opinion, or you want to share, comment below. If you know somebody who should see this, then you can share it. We'll have the links and all of the stuff that you need to do, all the social media at the bottom of the page. And if you want to get notified when another episode comes out, you can go to and know about all the local leaders that I plan on hopefully interviewing, as well as local businesses in the future. You can subscribe to the show. Your engagement means more to me as well as to my friend Ned here than you know, because it helps the local businesses, the professionals, the leaders of our community get much more exposure for what they're about and what they do. And we need to put this out on the platform so that people can see it. Super important for the growth of Revere, as you so said earlier. So thank you. And if you're thinking about buying or selling, you can reach out to me for Revere or the surrounding communities, and you want to work with the local expert, which you know is me. I own and operate Sept Real Estate here locally in Revere, right on American Legion Highway. I've been in real estate for 8.5 years. I grew up and live in Revere still, and I can help you find the right home and negotiate better deals because you've chosen to work with a local expert. If you're not ready to move or you just want to chit chat, that's fine too. You can reach out to me. You can reach out. My email is dlozzi, DLOZZI05 @gmail.com, and my cell phone number is 617-285-0667, or you can find me on Facebook under D Lozzi PRE Services. So that's D Lozzi PRE Services. So thank you so much for joining us today, and always remember to shop local and always be kind.
And don't forget to vote for Almeida.
Oh, that's true too. And if you want to reach out for Ned, you can reach out to me and I can get his contact information for you. So bye for now.